All right, 8:37 here, Big 550 KTRS. Believe it or not, there are other things going on in the world. The world who came to St. Louis, the media, got a chance to see all the great things going on in St. Louis, including the Delmar Loop, the revitalization of a once proud neighborhood. It's now that again, and they also got to see the finishing touches on a brand new trolley system that has cost millions of dollars. Now, to talk about that is Michael Highsmith from the Show Me Institute. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
What's going on with the trolley car over on the Delmar Loop?
Yeah, so the Delmar Loop's the trolley's been a topic of conversation for a long time.
Sure.
It's run behind schedule. It's been over budget. It's been a mess overall. And they just released their hours of operation about a week ago. And lo and behold, you can count on not taking it to work. It doesn't open until 11 a.m. So
For real?
Yeah. So this is just reinforcing the idea that it's not a transportation project. If you look at the area, you've got 7 bus routes that pass through the metro or through where the Loop Trolley is. You have 2 Metrolink stops right next to it. It's an unneeded transportation project.
Why would it not start until 11 o'clock?
I'm actually not sure what the reasoning behind that is, but for weekdays it runs from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then weekends it goes till about midnight. But
So if you live in University City
Yeah.
and you want to go to a ball game and you want to take the trolley to the Metrolink, you can't do it because you can't get back.
right. Well, you could take it too, but
To the game.
as far as how you're going to get back, I don't know.
If it was a night
You could
game,
take Uber, but then they won't allow. So then you break the law to take Uber.
Right.
back.
So it's definitely more of a touristy, not even touristy,
Yeah, and
but
I mean,
recreational.
so that's kind of the argument behind it. But when you look at the Loop Trolley and you try and argue for it as a transportation project, it doesn't really stand on its own. But when you look at it, the other argument is that it's an economic development spur. It can bring in businesses in the area. But again, you look at the area, this is the Loop we're talking about. This has been named one of the top 10 streets in America. It's not really a suffering area. And if you look at trolleys in other cities across the nation, there's not really any studies that can show that they do spur any economic development. If you look at it, a lot of times you find other subsidies are going on in the areas that have other buildings. You have TIF, you have tax abatement.
Right.
All these other kind of subsidies are what's prompting this economic development. So you can't really blame it on
Well, the Loop has sort of come back from the dead without a trolley.
Right.
So they've grown exponentially since Joe Edwards opened up Blueberry Hill without a trolley. But let me question you here, because the trolley doesn't go from the top of the Loop to Skinker. It goes from the top of the Loop all the way through Skinker, which is the highly developed area, to the part of the city that's not very well developed down Delmar, and then crosses over to end up at the History Museum, more or less. So what about extending the Loop? And so if it's easier to get to those other places, won't that then spur that development in those undeveloped areas?
You could potentially argue that it might, but at $23 million a mile, I think there's a lot better ways that we could go through this. We've done research at the Show Me Institute that has actually found for roughly $2 million, you could have bus routes that go the exact same area. So any kind of transportation that you need to spur development and actually get people to and from work, which again, we can't do on the Loop Trolley,
Right.
that could be solved at a much more cost-efficient method.
Yeah, but do those buses run at 7 o'clock in the morning when people want to go to work?
A lot of buses can run 24
yeah,
hours.
some are 24 hours.
So,
Is it because they don't want the trolley to run in the middle of rush hour traffic?
I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning is there, but the trolley's going to be in and out of oncoming traffic, so it'll pull into its own stops, but it's going to be with the cars.
And they'll go through rush hour traffic in the afternoon.
Right.
So that is.
But it's only running for 8 hours. And you said in other cities similar to what our size, or even larger cities, the trolley, that is not the case. It's more of a 24-hour thing, isn't it?
Is it? Okay. Well, I am. I can't speak personally to. I've lived in St. Louis my whole life, so I don't know the hours of operation for other trolleys. But again, we just have this concept that it's not going to be used for work-related activities. It's an amusement ride that you can ride down in the Loop, and it's taxpayer dollars that are going to that.
When is it going to be completed?
So it's set to be completed in spring of 2017.
Okay.
So hopefully we don't run behind schedule again.
Right, yeah. All right. There you go. Interesting stuff. Michael Highsmith with the Show Me Institute. Where can we read more about this stuff?
My colleague Graham Renz actually just posted a blog on this at theshowmeinstitute.org, or you can follow us on Twitter at ShowMe.
Michael, you're doing a good job, right? This is, your third or fourth time on the show?
Third time, yeah.
Very nice.
He's an old pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost be as bad as David Stokes here. You keep doing this. Holy mackerel. All right, thank you, sir. 8:42 here, Big 550 KTRS. Police have